Welcome guys to the second API security part video on your API really safe, and then we'll be moving straight to the practical API security testing techniques. So guys, follow me as we dive into this, and please don't forget to like, share, comment. Let me see your opinion, and please subscribe. Thank you guys.
They can see it anytime, any day. So, and a lot of us that have done UI testing, we do this a lot. Sometimes when we are testing and then we find like a bug, we tend to, some developers would say, send me the call or check your network tag and send me the URL, let me see, so we can tell if it's a backend or front end stuff. Just the way you know about this trick as a tester, also know that hackers are aware of it and they can use it to break down your system. It's not hiding, it's right there. So we'll go quickly to the practical steps, the practical techniques. Now, somebody might be asking, how can I check that my APIs are they are safe? How can I check? Now, so the only advice I can give to you, and that's what I do for myself, is so there's a particular list of top 10 lists called API OWASP 2023 API Security Top 10. So OWASP is like an open source, open source. A lot of experts, they come together to contribute into the like the knowledge bank. So they have like a top 10 list that they usually release from time to time. The last one was in 2019. So the latest one as we speak is 2023 OWASP API Security Top 10. So based on research, they've come to realize that if you are interacting, if you're probably a pen tester or a normal QA, and then you want to build up your skills in API security, if you can understand this top 10 list, at least it can guide you. It's like a guide. It can help you to determine and find a lot of flaws, because they've realized that these are like the top 10 issues that happen that, like if you notice those screenshots that I shared about companies, in the news and blogs, they were like, these are like the top 10 stuff that we've noticed over time, that are currently trending, that are currently happening. And so I'm not going to be going over the top 10, I'll just speak on the first three, because to me, they are like not like the major, but they speak to like 90% of the issues, So if you can understand broken object level authorization, if you can understand broken authentication, if you can understand broken object property level authorization, if you can understand these three, is a good start. At least you can beat your chest and say, okay, at least I've done my due diligence. With time, over time, I can grow, to understanding the others, and then also, add to my knowledge bank. So this first one that speaks, hello? Okay, like somebody, okay. So just like I said, these are the breaches. Like based on this diagram, you can see that OWASP 1, 2, and 3 are responsible for 90% of API breaches. I call them the big three. At least if I can do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm good. I can later on check the other ones, although the other 7 are still very, 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 very needed. But for a start, and because of time, we'll just stick with the first 3. That's what I'll be demonstrating. So the first one says broken object level authorization, aka BOLA, right? This one just simply means, can user A access user B's data or perform an action on an unauthorized object? So let's just assume you're John and you've signed up on an application already, and then you're able to sign in to see your details. So if you run your get, that's why I say if you don't understand APIs, this might be a bit challenging, but if you understand what the different methods are, the get, put, post, patch, you know what they mean, then this would be much easier. So let's look at the first one, the endpoint 1, which says the get/API, blah, 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 311. So that 311 is actually John's ID, right? And ideally, if Mr. John signs up and then he wants to see his data, endpoint 1 is fine. He should be able to see his data. but he shouldn't be able to see his data if he tries to check Jane's, stuff with Jane's ID. If he logs in as John, he shouldn't be able to see Jane's data and also Sam's data. So as you're testing, I know most of us, most of the time, we might be, as testers, we most likely, must have been doing all of these checks, but we don't know that we're actually doing security testing. Or we're not, like, we might not know that we are doing practicing broken object level authorization, BOLA, and the summary of this one just says there's authentication is not authorization. That's just it. Authentication basically is when are you the person, have you signed up on our portal? Are you the person that you said you are? Like, if I said I'm Kingsley, this is my email, this is my username, this is my password, the system will check, okay, yes, you're actually Kingsley. Now, when I go into an application, am I supposed to see Jane's profile? Am I supposed to see another person's detail? No, it's not. That's not, because I'm not authorized to see a third party or anybody's data, except the system admin gives me those privileges. That's when I can now be authorized to see them. Okay, so briefly, let's look at one example. I will quickly demonstrate one for us now. So this is Mike. I registered Mike on this portal, and Mike, these are all his details. I registered him, I created his account, and then he has his user ID, he has his source ID, and then he has his wallet and all the details here. And then the second person called Jane. Now, Jane, I also registered Jane on this portal. This is her details, like a password, Jane, the user, and her role. Everything is here, which is fine. I already have a credit. So we have two users right now. Now, let me log in. So let me log in with Mike. So this is Mike's data. So I already have their login here. So this is Mike. Let me log in with Mike. Let me log in as Mike and then just see how it goes. I'll use Mike's token to get Jane's details, and then you'll see it. This shouldn't happen, and it shouldn't happen at all. This thing is trying to pick. Sorry, it just take a bit of time, but so the idea is, we are trying to check the first issue if user A can see user B's data. So I want to log in quickly with Mike's credential so that I can now use his authentication and then check if he would. So while this one is running, let me just fill up the other data. So this is a get response. So let me pass Jane's ID. This is Jane's ID here. As you can see, 704 is Jane's ID. Let me open here so everybody can see. So this is Jane's ID, right? And now I have passed Jane's ID here, which is 704. This token is Mike's token. Now, cool, it's back. So I'm currently Mike, and I've logged into my account. So let me copy my access token, and then now this get response is supposed to show Jane's data, which is fine, and Jane is supposed to. So Jane is supposed to be the one to log in to see this thing, but now I'm currently logged in as Mike, and I've copied Mike's data, authentication token quickly. And now you can see Mike can access her data. Is this correct? No. So Mike, this is crazy. Now, Mike, I've logged in. This is Mike's, if you want to check. So this is Mike's user ID, 270. This is what he's supposed to be using. Or rather, he's using somebody else's ID, 704, and then he's giving him that person's details, Jane and the likes. So this is one of it. Second one, which says unauthorized objects. For this one, briefly, I would explain. So let's just say we have, so let's just say, so let me run this particular get for Mike. So I have Mike data here. I'm coming. This is Mike's data. And I want to get Mike's data. Please mute your mic if you are not speaking. I want to get Mike's data. So I've passed Mike ID. I want to get Mike. So if you notice, Mike has a lot of, he has his account details. He has his currency, the Bitcoin and all the likes. This is Mike's account. And these are the things that he has. Now, this is Jane, right? Let me log in as Jane. And then so you can get to see Jane's stuff. Log in as Jane quickly. So you can get to see Jane's stuff. So quickly now I've logged in as Jane. Let me copy Jane's credential. Please follow along. And I'm running this get request so that I can see Jane's full data as Jane. This is her ID 704. It's Jane's ID. She's now the rightful owner. She's trying to check her account. So this is Jane's. So Jane has 24,000 here as her balance for Ethereum. And then also for Bitcoin, she has 24,000. Mike has 25, and then he has 20 for Bitcoin. Now, for you to check unauthorized object, what I'm trying to say basically is that Mike shouldn't be able to sell. So let's just assume this is a Bitcoin, like a cryptocurrency system where you can trade for yourself, So as Mike, I'm not supposed to trade on behalf of another person, So, but you notice that on this system here, this is Jane's ID. Mike would try to attempt to trade on behalf of Jane. Let's check it out together. Now, this is Jane's. Let me log in as Mike quickly so you can get to see. Let me log in as Mike again. So you can get to see how Mike can perform an action for Jane. Quick one. Let's check. So this is execute. Okay, I'm trying to use it. So this is Mike. Mike is supposed to do his own transaction, but now he's passing the user ID of Jane, right? And this is Jane's wallet ID gotten when she did this is her stuff here. This is her wallet ID. Her wallet ID is 185 for Ethereum, and then she has her account ID for 146. Okay, so now let's assume he has all of this data. He has passed her account ID and also passed her wallet ID, and then also her account code, which is 006. This is Jane's details, her account code. So he's trying to sell her Bitcoin for her. Now let's execute this quickly. He's trying to let's just assume he wants to sell 2,000 with his own token. That's where the major check is, with his own token. He's doing it on behalf of Jane. Let's see. Let me run it again. As you can see, we're successful. Let's check Jane's stuff.
Jesus.
This is 24,000. Let's see if it will change to 22. Can you see? That's why sometimes you just stay and then somebody will be debiting you from nowhere. Things are happening, my brothers and sisters. I don't know how to put it, but just know that things are happening. And sometimes these things might not be, you can't, sometimes it's hard to do them on the front end. But with APIs, if the APIs are not properly developed, all the checks are not there, they can use it to harm you and do a lot of things. Okay? So let's quickly move on to the next. Now, you might be wondering, is this thing even real? It happened. It actually happened to Coinbase. Coinbase, like a cryptocurrency company and all, they sell and buy Bitcoins and the like. Somebody who, there was a particular hacker who's, he's right. He has already logged into the system. He's personal, like he has access to sell his Ethereum to euros. Like once he sells it, then they will credit him euros and all of that. He has the right to do it. But this guy went ahead to change this product ID from Bitcoin to USD. And for some reason, he was credited 43K. And the guy was like, oh my God, this is, and I think it was one of like the most, because sometimes they actually reward these hackers. So he went online and then he said, hey, guys, this is what I did. He didn't really state what happened, but he said he needs somebody to please link him up with the people at Coinbase, that he needs to talk to them, blah, 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 blah. And then later on, Coinbase responded and they actually fixed the issue, but they now brought out a statement and said that issue was because there was a missing logic validation check. Because the truth is, testers will try our best and do all this check, but it's not possible. So the guy, if you notice, he did it through the APIs. You see, yeah, this is his payload from directly on the UI. And because when the UI reviews when our UIs reveal a lot of information, they can use it to harm us. Now, if you can take a screenshot of this particular page if you want, but these are other combinations and other checks that you can do on your end if you want to go in depth, to understand how Bola and the kind of test that you can run on Bola. The first one, predictable IDs, it's wrong. If you're testing an application and the IDs are predictable, please raise an alarm, and then email IDs, try to think like a hacker. Just try to see if you can use your token to access another person's credential. Quickly, we'll look at the second one, which is broken authentication. Now, broken authentication has a lot of areas. We'll be talking about weak or poor authentication, no authentication, no 2FAs, no captcha. All of these things might be based on the business needs, especially 2FAs and no captcha, right? But I'll just be demonstrating only one for now, which is the.
So guys, we'll be diving into the booking authentication in the next video. I hope you've been able to learn a lot, especially with this dollar endpoint and URL, and I believe that you can also practice in your own self to learn more, to understand the flow and the basic. See you in the next video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this YouTube channel. God bless you as you do so. Thank you. Bye for now.